Welcome back to Love to Live in the Temecula Valley. I am your host, Catherine Materiali. If you are thinking of moving to Temecula and you've been doing some research online and have seen some great neighborhoods, but you just wonder where the heck they actually are and how it all fits together, well, this is the video that's going to help you out. This is a very simple, tactical video where I'm going to show you on a map where some of those neighborhoods are that you've been looking at online and how it all fits together here in Temecula. I help a lot of people move here from out of the area, whether or not they're moving from San Diego or Orange County or LA or out of state or even out of the country. And one of the biggest challenges when you are moving to a new area is just understanding how it all fits together. Where do you go grocery shopping? Where are the schools? Where are the different places of worship? Where are the hospitals? All of those different things and how close they are to where home will be. So today, this is a very simple video. We're going to dive right in and I'm going to show you where some of these neighborhoods are. Now, I will note, hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel because every single week I am delivering videos like this and so much more with information on the area that is just so helpful if you're new to the community or looking to move to the community, or maybe you're just not sure yet. So make sure to subscribe and like this video because it helps a girl out. Let's dive right in. So let's start with South Temecula. If you watched the video last week, you saw that I showed you where South, Central, and North Temecula are located. And then also I referenced Duluth, which feels kind of like its own area, and Wine Country, which is its own area essentially, mentally for those of us who live here. So let's start. If you are coming north on the 15 and you first hit Temecula, you come over the border crossing right into the county of Riverside and you get that beautiful view of the golf course and the trees and all the different neighborhoods. That first exit there is Temecula Parkway or South 79. So you'll see 79 on the map. Don't really pay attention to that. Just know it's Temecula Parkway. But if you see South 79, that means Temecula Parkway. If you see North 79, that means Winchester Road. So don't let that throw you off, okay? So let's zoom in. Okay, so if you get off, actually I'm gonna show you really quick. I'm gonna show you Duluth because then we're gonna move to the right. So if you were to move to Duluth, you would actually get off here at Rancho California Road. This is also where Old Town is, by the way. Such a fun place to go grab a bite to eat or shop or just meander, get some ice cream, things like that. But you would get off at Rancho California Road and you would head up into the hills, all this pretty green that you see here. And Duluth is a perfect spot if you want to be. Now, depending on how deep you are, if you're kind of right here at the start of Duluth, you're really close into town. It only takes a few minutes to get down the hill and get to the freeway for your commute or get to shopping or get to the mall. The deeper in you get, the more rural it feels, the more of a drive you're gonna have. And as it continues south, it becomes Fallbrook. So you'll see here, Fallbrook's in this direction, okay? So Duluth, as you head south, turns into Fallbrook. Duluth, as you head north and kind of get to this Via Volcano, it's like right around here that it changes to Murrieta. But Duluth is perfect if you want acreage, avocado groves, maybe you want to plant a wine vineyard. The weather is just really beautiful there. You get beautiful breezes, amazing views. This is where you want to be if you want to be a little bit more secluded, have an estate, build a custom home. Possibly you do have the option to buy land and build there. So just a lot of potential. Okay. So that's its own little thing. Let's talk about if you get off at Temecula Parkway. Now, I am not going to tell you every single neighborhood. That's where you got to just call me. But I am going to point out some of the ones that are more the style of a master plan community or a community that has amenities where you likely would have seen that mentioned in your search online and just want to have an idea of where it's located. So when you get off at Temecula Parkway, one of the first neighborhoods. Well, there are a few here, but you have, so first of all, the casino's right here, okay? And right across from the casino, you have Wolf Creek. You do have older, more established neighborhoods all along here that have very low taxes. There's no amenities or anything like that, but definitely if the price point is a lot less than some of these other neighborhoods like Wolf Creek or Red Hawk or Morgan Hill. So this is where, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So Wolf Creek is along here. It goes right up to the high school, which is very, very desirable to folks in the area. They have great sports programs and just a lot going on for it. Wolf Creek has an amazing community pool and walking paths, and there are starter homes per se, which are, you know, more like the townhome style, and then up to larger executive style homes. Then it feeds up, you kind of go up this hill. This circle here has a couple of different neighborhoods, Red Hawk and Vale Ranch. So Red Hawk has an HOA. There are a couple of gated sections of the community, like there's one right here and here. But as a whole, it's not a gated community. There are just a couple of clusters, and many of the neighborhoods back up to the golf course. It is a public golf course. It's not a private one, so anybody can go and golf there. But Red Hawk doesn't have, it's not like Wolf Creek where it has like the community amenities like the clubhouse and the community pool and things like that. Now, it is adjacent to Vale Ranch, and some of the lines can be a little bit blurred here when you're searching, but Vale Ranch has slightly lower taxes, and because it doesn't have the Mellows that Red Hawk has, and even more so that Wolf Creek or even Morgan Hill have. But Vale Ranch, it also doesn't have an HOA. And again, there's different size homes through here. All around here, there's great walking paths. There's a park down there that my kids love, especially Emily. It's got such a really fun theme, and it has like this fun swing thing where they can swing around. I can't even explain it. I'll just have to do a video about it sometime. But if you are a family that loves parks, make sure to shoot me a text or send me an email, and I'll send you the link for that. So Vale Ranch, and then we have Morgan Hill, which is up in the hills here. I wish you could see. I know it looks flat here, and Morgan Hill is then another community that has a beautiful clubhouse, a beautiful pool. They do lots of community events, and it's a fantastic area. The price point kind of, it goes, well, Wolf Creek and Red Hawk can kind of be in the same price point. Vale Ranch sometimes can be comparable to Red Hawk, but tends to be a little bit lower. And then Morgan Hill is kind of the priciest, I would say, of the price point in this area. So that's your southernmost portion. Like I said, there are other little pocket neighborhoods, but those are the big ones that you would have probably seen online in your search. Okay, now let's look at the northern part of Temecula Parkway and point out a couple things. Now, remember how I mentioned that when you first come over the hill, there's that gorgeous view with all the beautiful homes and the trees and everything. So we have these planned communities, but then we also have peppered in these more estate type homes where homes where somebody purchased the land and built a custom home over the years. So you have Los Ranchitos. You also have Santiago Estates, that's closer up to Paloma del Sol, and other little pocket areas as well where you have more land. It's a custom home. And if you have horses, or if you want your chickens or goats or things like that, that would be a really good option for you, because you can have that space and have that feeling of something more custom, but still be in town and not be too far back, tucked away in like Duluth or wine country. And then You have there's three neighborhoods that are all bam, 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 one right after the other. You have Paloma del Sol, Paseo del Sol, which doesn't show up on the map, and then you have Crown Hill. This little area down here is not Crown Hill, but it is adjacent to. And then this Crown Hill, some of these have a view of wine country per se, of kind of where some of the wine country starts and some of the more of those custom homes and the land. So Paloma del Sol, it's around this circle, and it's another community that actually has several different pools and sports courts and just acres and acres of walking paths. So this is a really great place if you really want to be active and outdoors and involved in your community. The HOA is very reasonable for all of the amenities that you get. And again, they do lots of community events. So if you want to be involved in that. And then Paseo del Sol, very similarly, I would say for price point, it's like a step up from Paloma del Sol in regards to price point. Same thing. It doesn't have as many different pools, but like the pools with Paloma del Sol tend to be smaller. Paseo del Sol has this one hub that has a huge pool, even has a quiet pool, a little, one of those little, I'm spacing on what they're called, but like not a deep pool, but just like a little shallow pool for the toddlers. Again, walking paths, playgrounds, sports courts, all of that. And then there is another pool as well in a different part of the community that's smaller, that is newer, but really that main hub one, that is the place to go. And they do all sorts of community events and things for families, things for just adults. I know they've had like luau's and things like that. So lots of fun if you want to be involved with the community, if that's something that's interesting to you. And then Crown Hill, it has a smaller HOA. It doesn't have amenities. There are parks within it. There are city parks, but another really beautiful community. There is even a portion of it that is gated, that the homes they're really almost like semi-custom. But these homes, I would say like size-wise, Paloma del Sol, and then they get a little bit bigger with Paseo del Sol, and then they get a little bit bigger with Crown Hill. So that's that area there. And then let's see here. That's really kind of the South Temecula portion. Now let's talk about the Central Temecula portion. Oh, and I will say, you're going to see from the freeway, if you're driving this area, that they're grading a bunch of land here. And I keep having folks that want to move here from out of the area, and they think, oh my gosh, those are going to be big estates with these amazing views. I sell a lot of new construction. I have friends that sell for the builders. One of my friends works for Brookfield, and they're going to be having a community open there. From what I'm being told in the research that I'm being done, these homes are going to be more of like a starter home, more townhome, row home, patio home style homes. I haven't heard anything about like big custom homes or anything like that, but the views will be amazing. You're right. So along Rancho California Road, I'm going to point out a few neighborhoods. So first is Rancho Highlands. Rancho Highlands is another community that has, the pool and the park and the sports courts. The homes are a little bit older. I will say some of these ones that are farther down do have freeway noise. You want to keep that in mind. Anytime you're along this direction, the closer you are to the freeway, the more you have the chance of having freeway noise. If you're moving from LA, you probably won't even notice it. I've had a lot of people move from LA and they're like, what are you talking about, Catherine? You guys you're complaining about nothing. So Rancho Highlands, that's a great community. It's so close to the freeway. It's right by the Target right here. There's all sorts of shops and restaurants and things like that. And then there are, like I said, there are other neighborhoods, but I'm going to point out, let's go along Rancho California Road. So if you were to get off Rancho California, this is all the shopping and such. And if you continue this direction, there are some apartments, and then you kind of get to this point here, and you have the Villages and Starlight Ridge. So on one side you have an established neighborhood, on the other you have an established neighborhood. Those homes are a little bit older. Then you get to some more shopping. And then here I'm going to point out right here on the corner, this is the post office, by the way. Right here on the corner here is Temecula Hills. And again, it's around, like you see this space here, that's because it's a golf course. There's another amazing clubhouse, and that is a public golf course, by the way. So this community wraps around that golf course, and there's an amazing clubhouse with all sorts available to you, and pool, and it's another really lovely community. If you continue up, then across from Temecula, that you have Village Grove, which again is a more established community. And then if you continue up, there's little pocket neighborhoods and such. This is still Temecula, it keeps going that direction. And then you hit, here you have Chardonnay Hills. I really love the entrance to it. It's got these beautiful metal gates that don't actually open or close, but they're really lovely. So Chardonnay Hills is another community that has the sports courts like basketball and tennis, and you've got the pool and all of that available to you. And it's right before you get to wine country. So if you maybe can't afford living in wine country, but you want to be close to the wineries, that's a really great spot to be. And then across from that is Vintage Hills. And Vintage Hills is another, and that kind of goes over this direction too. Vintage Hills, again, it has the clubhouse, the pool, the playgrounds, all of those things. You'll notice a trend of what I'm saying of pool, clubhouse, playground, sports courts. A lot of the neighborhoods, not all, but a lot of the neighborhoods here have that, because that's something that has been sought after for people that are moving to our area. We're not a big urban area where you have a lot of culture, where you can go to the theater and, go to a lot of concerts and things like that. So you do, however, have a lot of very family-oriented things. Not that that's all we have, but there is a lot of that here. So if that's something that you're looking for, then you're going to have a lot of options. So that's Central. Let's back up again. Fighting with my mouse here. And if you were to live more in the north part of Temecula, so remember how I mentioned North 79. So you've got South 79 and North 79. North 79 is Winchester Road. This is the one you get off to go to the mall, which is right here. So if you're a mall shopper, this is where you'll go. This is also where the Edwards Theater is. It's where Costco is, a bunch of restaurants, all of that available to you. So if you were to get off at Winchester Road, then the very most northern neighborhood before you hit Murrieta, because literally like right across from it, this right here is Murrieta, is Harveston. Honestly, my husband loves Harveston. We'll go over there and we'll kind of go around the lake, let the kids ride their scooters or bikes, or you can take a jog around the lake. You can even rent these little boats and go on the lake. You can feed the ducks. Don't hate me if you don't feed the ducks. I know sometimes people say, no, don't feed the ducks. But Harveston is another community where you have the sports parks, and there's a community pool area and clubhouse, and there's just a lot within that community. They do a lot of events and community-oriented things. And I want to point out something cool. Well, let's point out a couple more here. So just past the mall, you have, so I mentioned the community just off of, where was I? I mentioned Rancho Highlands, Roripaw Hills. I'm going to mention Roripaw Hills, and then there's also another Roripaw Ranch, so don't be confused by those. So Roripaw Hills, it's right across from Chaparral High School. Again, it has the community pool and the walking paths and playground, and that's right close to the mall, so it's really convenient. And then what's really cool here, I want to point out, see, I'm going to zoom out. See all this space right here? This is a neat little thing, and I feel like a lot of times people don't know it's there. This is Meadowview. When you live in Meadowview, you feel like you're living in the middle of the countryside, but you're right by the mall. It's such a neat pocket. You feel completely tucked away. You can have acreage, you have space. It also has a couple of different pools, but there are these, there's this open space, we call it the meadows, where you can ride your bike or run with the kids or ride your horse or things like that. And it's just a really unique community. The price point is like living in wine country, but the location is right in town. So if you haven't heard about that, definitely research it, or if you want to pick my brain on it, it's a really cool option if you want to have space, but you don't want to be deep into wine country or Duluth. Okay, let's see here. So that's another great little neighborhood to know about. I want to point out, so also if you were to go down Rancho California Road, remember I told you about Chardonnay Hills and then you hit wine country? Well, if you turn left on Butterfield Stage, so you can get to it from Butterfield Stage, but you can also get to it from Murrieta Hot Springs. You have this newer community here of Summers Bend. And this is the newest master plan community of Temecula as of right now. And it is really special as well. You have some really high-end homes built by Shawwood at the farthest southernmost tip. And then you have more starter homes like condo style, townhome style, and then a range of different sizes of single family residences. And then along this bottom portion as well, you do have a gated 55 plus community that is also really lovely. And they have their own amenities, but Summers Bend has a really cool sports park right here at the front. They've got an amazing clubhouse with an area that you can rent out. I've literally had business meetings there and events, and they've got a really cool gym area. There's just so much to it. So Summers Bend is really neat, has a lot to offer. And then also, now this is can be a little confusing because this is Murrieta, but there is a section here of Temecula that's south, so the southern portion of Murrieta Hot Springs. But be careful because there is some portion over here that's Murrieta again. But there is a community called Roripaw Ranch, which is another gated community. It's not guard gated, but a gated community. And then they also, again, have the community pool. This is a small community, but really pretty. And you kind of feel like it's very tight knit. So that's another great option as well. So that's a snippet of what is available to you in Temecula and how it all fits together. There are so many more neighborhoods though. If you're really wanting to know more about the area, please don't hesitate to reach out. I would love for you to pick my brain. Or if you would like any more information, if you'd like me to do a video on any particular part of town or any particular neighborhood, please drop a comment because I want to be able to do that for you. We would love to be a part of your journey if you are thinking of moving here. So make sure to send us an email or shoot me a text with any questions that you have, or if you'd like to set a time to have a call to dig in and really tell me what it is that's important to you about finding home. Thank you as always for spending time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.